Um, Good morning. This is Mary, and it is July 15th, 2019. And I am at the home that Marjorie lived in at the time that she died. And this is the day that she died. It's 59 years ago. And I did get permission from the people who live here, so I don't want you to think I'm just creepy and would go up to someone's door. So I'm going to walk the path that she walked because it's about the same time. It's a little bit earlier, but I move a little bit slower because she was 37 and going to work, and I'm not 37 and I move slow. So anyways, this is the back door of their house, and she came out the store. Her neighbor over there heard her not slam the door, close the door, put the key in the lock and lock it, and then she started to go to where she was going to meet her carpool. So we'll head that way. Oops. Um, I'm not Spielberg, so the video may be a little weird. Anyways, so here we go. And the backyard's a little different. I think the garage is probably the same one that was here when she died, but I'm not positive. So anyways, and the fence was not here. The people who live here, who were nice enough to give me permission, told me it isn't 1960-ish. So anyways, so she came out to the alley before we did organics and all sorts of recycling. And the alley looks like it's probably in the exact same condition it was in 1960. And she walked down the alley over to 48th Street. And there probably weren't planes flying low overhead, or if there weren't as many as there are today. So, and it's about the same conditions weather-wise as it was at the time. It was not raining, and I think it's a little bit muggier. I don't know for sure, but it was clear skies. It wasn't raining, and so there was about the same as it is this morning. So now we're at 48th, and she turned here to head over to Oakland. And she was being picked up over in Oakland instead of in front of her house, because at that time Park Avenue had construction. I'm surprised they're still not working on it. But anyways, it was so she had to be picked up over in Oakland. And it's such a quiet neighborhood. Like I said, if you were standing here and you take away the cars, you'd be expecting to see the Cleaver family coming down the street, because it was just a nice neighborhood. So and this home right here and the one next to it both had said they heard shots, and first they heard a woman scream, and then they heard shots. One of them did look out the window, but as you can see, there's a pine tree, and it's not in good shape right now, but it must have been in better shape then, because it probably obscured their vision. And I'm not sure how much of this shrubbery was there, but most likely a lot of it. So she probably waited about here. For her ride, which was to be coming down from that end. And like you can see, it's very quiet. So she's standing here and she's waiting, and someone comes up to her that she knew, she must have known, because they were so close when they shot. So if she didn't know them, she probably would not have waited for them to come up here. And she was probably like, "What are you doing here?" And they shoot. She screamed when she saw the gun. She screamed, and many people heard her. And at that point, she turned to run, and she started up on the grass here. I'll wait for the plane to go by. And right about here is where she dropped her purse and the boxes she was carrying with a book and some sewing she was going to do, because she was going into work an hour earlier than she had to, but the people in her carpool needed to be there. And there were very few people who knew she'd be on the corner at 6 o'clock instead of her regular 7 o'clock time. So she screamed and she started running, and she was shot a couple times in the back, right around here. And then she ran between these two houses. And she fell. And there's a window well up here, as you can see now. It didn't have the guard there. And at this point, she fell and she was shot more times, including in her back, in her head. And when they found her, her head was in this window well. And the killer ran down this way. Now again, these fences weren't there. Ran down there, and that takes you to the alley. And then he went out to 48th Street, and then down to Portland, which is 1 block away. And she laid here for 5 hours before the owner of this house, who did hear a scream and did check and actually saw the man running away, came out to water his shrubs and found her laying there. And that was around 11:30 on that morning. So this is pretty much the route and close to the time. And I come here most every year. Some years I haven't made it because I'm out of town or the weather, and I put some flowers, and here they are, on the boulevard by this tree, just to remember her, and so she's not forgotten. So, Marjorie, you didn't deserve this, and we're going to try to tell your story and keep your memory alive. So, that is it from South Minneapolis.